Welcome to Psychology at Hills Road. My name is Mrs. Wells. I'm the head of psychology at Hills Road, and I'm here with two of my students to talk about what it's like to study psychology at the college.
Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm a current Year 13 student studying psychology, economics and maths here at Hills Road.
Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm a current Year 12 student and I'm studying double maths, computer science and psychology here at Hills Road.
So, what is psychology? Psychology is the scientific study of human behaviour. It is a multidisciplinary subject involving biology, mathematical skills and extended writing. It will introduce you to lots of different ways of learning and studying different topics. It's a rigorous and scientific subject that will develop many skills in different areas. In the first year of the course, we will look at these four different topics: social influence, attachment, memory, and psychopathology. These topics look at group behaviour, relationships between caregivers and infants, why we remember things or how we can remember things, and sometimes why we forget things. We'll also look at psychopathology and different explanations for behaviours such as OCD, phobias, and treatments. Is an example of a very famous social psychological research by a man called Solomon Asch. Solomon Asch sat his participants in a row of 8 people. He asked participants to tell him which line matched the example line X here. But before participant answered, 7 confederates to the participants gave their answers. Sometimes these confederates gave the right answer, so in this instance B, and sometimes they gave the wrong answer, so they may answer A. He noted down how many times the participants either gave the correct answer or conformed to the group and gave the wrong answer, even though they could see with their own eyes this was wrong. This was investigating group conformity behaviour. In Year 12 and Year 13, we'll look at the second unit, inclusive of biopsychology, research methods and approaches. In biopsychology, we'll look at how the brain functions on a biological and chemical level and different ways in which the brain functions or dysfunctions. We'll look at approaches, like it says here, the big ideas in psychology, the history of psychology, and how different disciplines and explanations of behaviour have developed since its emergence from the discipline of philosophy, through cognitive psychology, behaviourism, biological psychology, and to the current day of cognitive neuroscience. Research methods is also an overarching topic that will be touched on throughout the 2 years at Hills Road. Through this topic, you will learn how to design, carry out different types of research. You will also carry out research yourself by collecting, analysing data and making conclusions about what you have found. A very famous example here of a chap called Phineas Gage. Phineas Gage had a very unfortunate accident where he had a metal pole shot through his head. Miraculously, he stayed alive, but it helped us understand that different areas of the brain have different responsibilities. And unfortunately for him, the prefrontal cortex, which was mainly damaged in his accident, allows us to make informed decisions and future plans. Unfortunately, Phineas Gage could no longer do these things. In Year 13, we will look at these 4 topics: relationships, forensics, schizophrenia, and issues and debates. In relationships, we'll look at the selection of romantic partners and what different decisions and how these impacted, and the impact of the internet and modern day relationships. We'll also look at schizophrenia as a whole topic, the different explanations for the symptoms, as well as how effective different treatments are. We'll look at forensic psychology, so different explanations and examples of crime, how we work out who committed a crime, and ways of dealing with offending behaviour, whether putting people in prisons is the right thing for everyone. We'll also look at issues and debates. This is a very important topic in which we discuss different sides of debates, such as the nature-nurture debate, free will and determinism, so whether we have a choice about our behaviour or whether our behaviours are predetermined by the genetics we are born with. Here is an example of different schizophrenic symptoms, so such as hallucinations, fears of being controlled, and we'll learn about different explanations for these different symptoms and the ways in which they're treated. I'm going to hand over now to my students to give you a little bit more information about what it's like to study psychology at Hills Road.
So to be a psychology student, you need to have a curious and an analytical mind. You need to be interested in human brain and the behaviour of people around you. And also you need to be able to think critically and analyse evidence and weigh it up and discuss different things like that. But do bear in mind that you need no prior knowledge of psychology. When the course starts, they assume that you know nothing about psychology beforehand, but they bring you up to speed very quickly and efficiently.
The study of psychology at A-level allows for the development of a variety of different skills. So for example, here we've got formulating arguments by presenting and evaluating research evidence that we may come across, as well as the ability to develop a more concise writing style and design and carrying out research and presenting these findings and analysing the data. At Hills Road, the psychology department adopts a flipped learning style. So you'll be learning a lot of the content initially at home, which you can then bring into class and discuss more with your classmates. This helps to develop the skill of seeking out information independently, which is a really good preparatory skill for taking to university. So you'll be finding information prior to a lecture that you'll then discuss with the lecturer and other students. As any other A-level, it requires some commitment outside of the classroom. So you should be spending approximately 5 hours per week looking at psychological content and completing homework or any revision. This might differ depending on if you've got exams coming up or if you've got a quieter week and you need to be focusing more on other subjects. So you'll be spending a lot of this time, as mentioned before, looking at your flipped learning, so reading lots of information about psychology to prepare for the lessons in preparation for exploring it in greater depth, which is really beneficial because it allows for extended learning.
So because of this flipped learning approach, lessons in psychology are often lots of consolidation of what you've done during the homework, but also discussion of theories and issues and studies, and lots of quizzes and group work, and especially exam practice, which is really helpful to help you achieve your grade. And the teachers are always willing to help you with any question, no matter how silly you may think it will be. And they always try to challenge you and push you further so you can achieve the grade that you want to get.
At Hills Road, there's a big emphasis on support and additional resources for psychology students. So a few examples of these are the lunchtime workshops, which run regularly, maybe 1 or 2 times a week, which a student can come if they have any questions or a bit confused about any of the content. They can come and ask the teacher any questions they may have. There's also the peer mentoring scheme, which both Year 12 and Year 13 students have found quite beneficial, because the Year 12s who are kind of finding their feet in the psychology A-level course can get information and wisdom from the older Year 13 students who have perhaps a bit more knowledge, whereas the Year 13 students have found it beneficial to recap the Year 12 topics that they may have forgotten a bit about once they've moved on to the Year 13 topics. This is very beneficial for obviously reinforcing the content material in preparation for exams. There's also students need to purchase a physical copy of the textbook to use throughout their course at the start of 6th form, but alongside this, Hills Road have an online version which has additional resources and extra material which really helps to elevate learning through psychology. So there's an ability to find additional information which may be outside the immediate course content, which can be brought into the writing of 16 markers and exams to really help those essays stand out from other students at different 6th forms and help to get those higher grades.
In psychology, we have lots of extracurricular activities to help enhance knowledge and understanding of the subject outside of the A-level specification. We enable students to take part in research at local universities to help them give them first-hand experience of psychology in practice. We also take students to visit the Bethlehem Museum of the Mind in London, alongside specialist conferences for both experts in the field of psychology and for revision skills as well. We have a student-led psychology society who on a weekly or bi-weekly basis bring experts into the field of psychology into the college for lunchtime talks and Q&As with students. Lots of our students in psychology go on to study psychology at university. It's a very popular degree subject that can lead to lots of different professions. Lots of university may require another science alongside psychology, such as mathematics and biology, which is very popular among our psychology students. However, there are many universities that don't require this combination, and many of our students also study English or philosophy or many other subjects alongside psychology. Our student performance is consistently and significantly above national average, the national average being 49%, and our students achieving 71% A star to B grades, and for their pass rate 99% A star to E grades.
For Hills Road psychology students, there's a variety of destinations that the psychology A-level leads them on to after the A-level onto higher education. So 25% do go on to do a psychology degree. And I'd also like to reassure some of you that whilst Johnny and I both take more scientific A-levels alongside psychology, a lot of my fellow classmates take a mixture of humanities subjects with psychology. So there really is quite a wide difference in the combination of A-levels that you can take with psychology. Whilst you may not take a 100% psychology degree after psychology A-level, you can take still a psychology related degree. So myself, for example, I'm planning to do a degree with psychology and economics combined. That's still got the psychology element there. And if you don't feel like carrying on psychology beyond the A-levels course or specification, there are still many transferable skills that you can take to any degree course. For example, the ability to evaluate research is something really valued by lecturers at university, as well as carrying out research independently is something that most students will have to do in a dissertation context, which happens for a majority of degree courses.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have found this useful, and we hope to see you in the department sometime soon.